Welcome to Taiwan, an island nation 100 miles from China's southern coast. With green mountains, tall skyscrapers, and busy cities like Taipei, Taiwan is known for its beauty and productivity. But unlike communist China, where everything is controlled by the government, Taiwan is a democracy where people are free and have individual rights. After martial law was lifted in 1987, Taiwan developed civil liberties, a free press, and competitive elections, all freedoms that people in China lack. These freedoms help the Taiwanese people flourish, but they also make them a convenient target for China's government, which considers the island part of its territory. One day, it boasts, Taiwan and China will be reunified. Meet Wei. He grew up in Taipei with his parents, little brother, and grandfather, whom he calls Waigong. Wei attends an international school in Hawaii, but he's happy to be home on break. Wei is in his senior year and is very active in Model United Nations, along with his Chinese friend Feng. Wei's history teacher is even helping him present a Model UN petition to recognize Taiwan as a sovereign country. He hopes the project will boost his profile on his college applications. Wei takes pride in being Taiwanese, but he's not happy about his upcoming military service. Young men are required to serve for 4 months, and most complete their service right out of high school. Wei understands the need for an active military, but he doesn't understand why everyone needs to serve. The last big threat was from China during Waigong's childhood. Invasion's not possible now, right? As one of the most powerful countries in the world, China uses its influence to insist that Taiwan is not an independent country. With its permanent seat on the UN Security Council, pressuring other countries to not recognize Taiwan is easy. More recently, China has also been flexing its military might. Even though Taiwan is a US ally, Chinese warships frequently sail by. Nearly every day, more and more jets fly into Taiwanese airspace in an act of intimidation. Taiwan's people have lived with the threat of invasion for decades. But this increase in activity makes Wei's family wonder, could the day that China takes over Taiwan actually happen? Wei's father works for a company that ships semiconductors and microchips to countries around the world. He sees how a war with China would disrupt this vital Taiwanese industry, creating a worldwide shortage of computer chips. If the war resulted in occupation, then every Taiwanese business would be subject to Chinese rules and censorship. Taiwan's 23 million people would lose their hard-won freedoms overnight. But Wei is not worried. Feng messages him that China's tough talk about reunification is nothing to worry about. He insists that people in China and Taiwan have more in common than they realize. The last few days have been a whirlwind. Because of the daily breaches of Taiwan's airspace, Wei's flight back has been canceled. Wei is doing some classwork remotely, but it's hard to watch his last semester of high school start from afar. Plus, his Model UN petition will be voted on at the next session, without him. Taiwan's military service requirement is also in the news, and Wei is stunned. Taiwan's president just increased the military requirement to a year. Delaying college by a whole year might mean applying all over again. Wei's parents understand his disappointment. But when Waigong suggested that college can always wait while someone serves their country, Wei stormed out of the room. Hoping for some better news, Wei is talking to his teacher. But the update about his Model UN petition is not any better. When she presented the petition at the meeting, some students shouted mean things about Taiwan and then walked out. Others complained that the Chinese students were bullying them to reject the proposal. With such an uproar, Wei's teacher had no choice but to withdraw it. Wei is shocked. How could this happen? He knows that the real United Nations does not recognize Taiwan, but he'd hoped that the Model UN could be different. He wishes he could have been there, defending his petition in person. Now that it's fallen apart, what accomplishment can he put on his college applications? Suddenly, everything feels like a bad dream. Wei is chatting with Feng to learn what happened. To his shock, Feng has already prepared another Model UN proposal, one that would make Taiwan a part of China. Wei cannot believe it. How could Feng betray him? As Wei watches another news report about Chinese jets invading Taiwanese airspace, he thinks about how China has conquered other countries in the past, and what happened after they did. Since taking over Tibet in 1950, China has placed 1 million Tibetan children in government-run boarding schools for re-education. China has also sent over 1 million Uyghur Muslims to labor camps. Between those human rights abuses and China's suppression of journalists and protesters, Wei is realizing what his parents and Weigong know. Despite what Feng tells him, reunification might not be best for everyone. Today, Wei is accompanying Weigong on his annual visit to the Taoyuan Martyr Shrine. After saying a prayer together at the peaceful shrine, Wei and Weigong walk to a lookout point above a popular beach. As they look out at the ocean, they can't help but notice the 2 Chinese warships in the distance. With a determined glint in his eye, Weigong finally tells the story of Wei's great-uncle, who fought the Chinese forces when they invaded Jingmen Island in 1949. Even though China landed with a fighting force of 9,000 men, Taiwan's nationalist troops fought fiercely to stop an invasion, securing a victory that helped keep Taiwan free from communist control. Wei is moved by the heroic story. But then, Weigong pulls out an old military medal. It had been presented to Wei's great-uncle for what he did on Jingmen, Weigong explains. Thanks to him and others like him, everyone's grown up with peace and plenty. But those things are not guaranteed. And soon, others may be called upon to fight for Taiwan's freedom. Wei looks from the medal back out to the distant warships and feels a new sense of patriotism stir in him. It's been a month since Wei's flight was canceled. He's still in Taiwan, and his decision to finish high school in Taipei was very surprising, but not as surprising as his plan to join the Taiwanese military after he graduates, rather than defer. Thanks to Weigong, Wei is seeing the chance to serve Taiwan in a whole new light, and he's heard that some colleges even favor applicants coming out of the military. Applying again doesn't seem so daunting, not when Wei wants to be part of something bigger than himself. Finally, it's the night before Wei goes to basic training, and he's spending time with his family. In a surprise to everyone, Weigong gives Wei a tremendous gift, his great-uncle's medal. Wei accepts it graciously. Not that long ago, the thought of serving his country made him roll his eyes, but now he's proud. Like his great-uncle, Wei wants to know that he helped keep their small, independent nation free.